So, hello, welcome, peace be upon you. Uh, Welcome to another episode of the Happiness Revolution. I always mix up the hello, welcome, and the peace be upon you order. Never mind. Okay, so in this particular edition of the Happiness Revolution, where I talk about stuff that will change your life and cause a revolution in the world and make it a happier place, and this is my usual introduction, that these are not my own ideas, these are bits of age-old wisdom that have been taught throughout the ages to humanity, spiritual ideas. So that's the introduction done, and the point of this particular episode is to reiterate the idea that, or the invitation to ask me questions. And so it's not my ideas, like I said before, these are just me passing on things that I've learnt, spiritual ideas that aren't so well known. That's why I'm passing them on. And so yeah, just ask me questions about life. So let me talk about the categories of topics that I want to cover. Basically stuff that affects life in this world, I suppose, and things like, personal issues, things that somehow affect your life, because anything that affects your life will affect your happiness. So that, talking about relationships, talking about economic issues, so wider issues rather than just your personal issues, but also personal economic issues, like how do you, find happiness when you're poor, or how do you get a job so you're not so poor, and how do you start a business? What are the key ideas to becoming a good business person? I suppose by saying these spiritual ideas that give you happiness, people might think that they're not very practical ideas in your life, so maybe I need to explain that. So spiritual ideas and spirituality and your physical well-being are interconnected. That is the spiritual idea in itself. So spiritual wisdom helps you with your practical physical wisdom, life in general. So these questions I'd like you to ask of me could be to do with your relationships, your physical well-being, dieting, all sorts of things that affect your happiness, and the environment, how we can help the environment, save the environment, and you could go on and on. I suppose I hope you get the idea that you can ask questions about most things, just not the kind of thing like, what's the capital of such and such country. I think people get that. And what else is there to say? Some people think that the answers to these questions must be really complicated, and I'm going to demonstrate that actually they're quite simple, but often, how can I describe, not as you expect them. Spiritual ideas require you to break down your ego, and your ego encourages you to think one way, and spiritual ideas encourage you to think a different way, which makes your life easier, and your ego pretends to make your life easier but makes it harder. So that's why the answers won't be quite as you might expect them. I'm trying to think of what else is really important. Yes, and they're not very complicated either. The truth is simple. And that's why I can give you these things, because I'm not particularly smart or anything. It's just that if you know the answers, it's really easy. Like in a quiz, if you know the answers, it's really easy, but if you don't know the answers, it's really complicated. And that's the nature of spiritual ideas, that they're understandable to everybody. And I suppose that's all there is to say. Oh yes, and how can you ask questions? You can either go to my website, and I'm not saying what my website is, because it keeps changing, so there should be a link at the bottom of the video on YouTube itself, so you can ask me questions on YouTube, on the comment section on YouTube, or on my website. There usually is a comment bit underneath the videos. You can ask there as well. You'll have to log in and register and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything else I need to explain? I suppose you can ask me in a comment if I don't make it clear, but it's just about things that will change your life, not stuff like what's the capital or something, or what's... I do maths videos as well, but that's separate, you know. You can ask me maths questions, I suppose. Thank you for watching. Bye.